guys, welcome back to another episode. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the Nikon D7000 once again because I have learned some important things about this camera and I want to go ahead and share those things that I've learned. And they're basically just comments that I have had written on my last video, the Nikon D7000, back a year ago. And I just wanted to let you guys know the things that I feel are important about this camera and really some of the problems that I've encountered and how I fixed those problems. So let's get into this right now. One of the most important things that I have noticed is that for me personally, I have seen that my D7000 has actually had a very bad focus problem. Now, I absolutely love this camera. It has a great image sensor. The color is beautiful. It just has an overall great picture quality. So I don't know, there's just something about this camera. It's lightweight. It has a dual card slot, which is so nice. And I find this so convenient because I don't have to worry about compact flash cards or anything like that. And I have a very large amount of SD cards, so that's very good. But this camera just is kind of a lot all rolled into one small package, which is something that a lot of people actually love about this camera. It does feature quite a great amount of things. It's 16.2 megapixels, which is phenomenal. And I feel that's like plenty of pixels that you would actually need. To get to the point, this camera did have some issues. Like I said, it was a focusing problem. So in order to fix that, I made a whole video about this. It was where you actually get into the fine-tune autofocus settings. And if you guys want to check that video out, I'll post a link at the end of this video so you guys can see how you do that. But basically, you just have to put each lens on and basically just fine-tune it if you have a focusing problem. Now, what I mean by focusing problem is that when you go into the autofocus selection points where you get to choose your own focus point, the camera will actually focus in a completely different spot than the focus point that you selected. And you can actually test this theory out with like a close-up image. So if you're just taking a picture of a book or even a flower petal and you select that focus point, you'll see if your camera is actually working correctly with your lens. Now, the biggest issue that I've had is that this camera in particular, for me, the body that I have, just doesn't like to communicate with lenses. And I mean, that's okay. It's just a little more work for me to put into the camera. But you know what? It works out because the camera has an amazing sensor. So I'm not really complaining too much unless I get blurry images. A lot of people actually have not had this problem. They've actually had a good camera body to where they just don't get that focusing problem. So they're lucky, you know what? And anybody that is watching this, if you don't have that problem, good for you. I'm so happy you don't, because I tell you, it can be a pain in the butt. But for anybody that does, check out that video, okay? This is an older camera, but you know what? I love older equipment because it still is perfect even in today's world of photography. Now you can attach a nice battery grip to this, which I do have right here. And it's quite simple actually. All you do is you just take off the little rubber piece on the bottom right here. You remove it. Hopefully easier than I am right now because I'm trying to show you the wrong way. But anyway, you just take that off. And then on the battery grip, when you do get it, you can find these battery grips a lot of places. I got this one used from MBP, which I am not a sponsor of. I am also not a sponsor of Nikon, by the way. I just love Nikon cameras. But you can just get these. I got this this is almost brand new. I got it like new for like 20 bucks. And that is a screaming deal. I'm not going to say that they're that price right now, but at the time when I did buy this, it was that price. So that was phenomenal. Anyway, so you put this little rubber piece on the bottom right here, okay? it just kind of snaps right in there, if you guys can see, okay? And then you have the little lock feature which goes on here, but this little battery pack, you can actually put AA batteries or an extra battery in it, which is nice. It's supposed to come with a pouch and everything like that. If you get that, good. If not, then, well, at least you'll get the battery grip. I'm not saying every one of them comes with it because there are a lot of used ones out there that don't have all the extra accessories. Anyway, to put this on, all you do is line up the little pins right there with this one right here. You snap it together just like this. Don't snap it because that would be bad. And then on the back side of this, all you would do is roll the lock mechanism right here. Hopefully I'm doing it the right way. Hold on. There you go. You just twist it until it is completely locked. And there you go. You have the battery grip installed. You can use this vertically now, and you can also change the shutter speed and an f-stop right here as well when you have this attached. Now, the one thing that I have noticed is that this battery pack does give this camera a lot more extra battery power and will help you to take pictures even longer. Because unfortunately, for some reason, my batteries don't last that long in this camera compared to, say, the Nikon D90 or the Nikon D700. I know my D200 doesn't last very long, but for some reason, these batteries don't last as long as those batteries, and I'm not sure why, they just don't. But just, consider that. When you buy this camera, I would highly recommend that you get the battery pack because it just gives you that extra grip and makes you feel like you're not going to drop this thing. It's a smaller camera, but it still gives it more grip. Now, one great thing that I absolutely love about this camera is that it has a lot of features that higher end Nikon models actually have. It has the magnesium alloy body, which is so nice because say you accidentally drop this camera, and I would recommend that you do to try this because you might kill your camera. So don't drop it, please. But if for some reason you accidentally do drop it, you won't have to worry so much about it being damaged. Now, I can't guarantee it won't, but I'm just saying you will have a greater resistance compared to a plastic body, say something of like the Nikon D60 or the D80. If you drop it, you're not going to have a dead camera you're not likely to have a dead camera compared to those models. So that's something to consider when you buy this. This camera does have amazing image quality. It's compact, has a lot of features. It has it's 6 frames per second in burst mode, which is fantastic for this size of a camera. You cannot get any more frames per second though when you add the battery pack compared to like the D300S and like the Nikon D700. Those, if you add the MBD10 battery pack, you'll actually get a higher frames per second. So that's something to think about if you want something that has a higher frames per second. 6 frames isn't bad for this age. It's pretty quick for what it is. So you will actually be able to take some decent wildlife pictures if you have a lot of light and a very fast lens. Another thing that is great about this camera is that it is also weather resistant. So if you have a nice weather resistant lens paired with this camera and you decide to go take pictures, say on a foggy day or by the ocean, you don't have to worry about it getting weather damage because it does have those extra little rubber pieces inside to give you that extra protection. There's just a lot of things about this camera that are so nice for its compact little body. It does have the motor drive, so if you want to put older lenses like the one I have on here right now, you can use older lenses and it will give you that functionality of autofocus. Like I said, you might just have to fine tune your autofocus when you do that, so just keep that in mind. You have a lot of functionality. This camera does have video and it will shoot up to 24 frames per second in 1080p, which is quite nice. Now, for me, I don't particularly like the video function on my camera, and I think it is because it has the focus problem. Now, I've heard other people that they absolutely love the video function on their D7000. So if you have a model that actually doesn't have a focusing problem, I'm sure it works just fine and it will give you great video, because to be honest, the video quality is not bad at all. It's just when it doesn't focus correctly, it will hunt. And that's really been the problem that I've had with this particular camera body. I've never had that kind of problem with any other my other camera bodies, you know, but to be honest, since I can fix it with the fine-tuned autofocus, I haven't felt the need to really trade this in for any reason, because I don't know, I get connected to a camera and I know what's going on with it, and since I do, I don't really want to dig into another camera, because then I don't know what's going on with that one. So given that, I would say that if you are looking for a nice beginner camera, something that will get you into the higher end settings of cameras, because this thing will do a lot for the money, then I would highly recommend that you get the Nikon D7000. It's a great entry-level photographer camera for, like, if you're getting into a photography class or anything like that. It has so many functions. It'll do bracketing for HDR photos, which is phenomenal. It will do time-lapse photography with the different intervalometer settings you could do inside of it. I have a video on that as well, which I'll also post at the end of this video, so you guys can check that out if you want to. There's just so much packed into this little body that you will be so happy when you get this. You will not be disappointed whatsoever if you were to buy this and try it out, because there's a vast amount of lenses you can put on it. The other great thing that I forgot to mention is that this also does have live view and the info button. So when you do turn on the camera, let's see, you can also see that all the settings are right there. You can see every setting that you have set up on your camera on the fly. Instead of having to go into the menu and actually looking it up, you can have everything right there for you. So that is so handy. I love it. It has the also on the viewfinder, which is, I think, very important. It's 100% viewfinder magnification, so you can see everything that you're taking a picture of. It will not crop anything out. So that's really good for this kind of camera as well. You'll see that usually on the higher end Nikon models, like the full frames and stuff like that. More the newer ones, more of the, instead of like the, I don't think even the Nikon D700 has that. So that's really great. This camera was intended to be in the middle of the Nikon D90 and the D300S, but it kind of surpasses those two because those cameras are a lot older than this one. It has even some features above the Nikon D3, which is really great. You will get a 39 focus point autofocus matrix system in this, which is really great. So one thing I'd like to mention is by using this top dial up here, the front dial, and then using this side button on the AF or manual mode, if you tap that, you can actually have unlimited focus points in this camera when using live view. And I find that very useful. So all you would do is just switch the mode, make sure it's AFS, and then you can switch your mode with the front dial, which is your aperture adjust usually, and then you can have unlimited focus points in this camera, which I find to be pretty cool. And so you actually exceed the 39 focus points that you can have only when you're using the camera normally. You have a lot of different autofocus settings in here, which is fantastic. You have a very high rate of ISO, so you go all the way up to, I believe it's like 25,000. Let's see here. Yeah, it goes, there's 6400 ISO, and yeah, so it goes really high. It goes to high 3 and high 7, and then high 10, high 20. So I think that's like 25,000 ISO, which is really what you don't need. Of course, has the ISO settings of 100, and then that's pretty much it. This camera is great, guys. So if you guys want to check it out, go ahead and look on MBP. I'm not sponsored with them once again, but they do have a good majority of these cameras that you can buy, and they're really decently priced. Well, anyway, if you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button down there. Please subscribe to my channel. Share it if you find out you like this and you found it informative to any of your friends or family that might be just getting into photography. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it if you do. Anyway, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Please take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to get notified when new videos get posted. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider checking out some of the other videos on the links at the end of this video.